games so far. That is open again. Unless you want to take away the Nunu from Reignover and you want to try and run a let's buff up Hjarnan composition. Because Fnatic has tend to run with fairly low engage when they can't get the likes of Hecarim. And that's where if you buff up your AD carry, if you run like a hyper carry setup where you have a lot of protection, a lot of peel for him, let's say Nunu Janna in this situation, it's very tough for Fnatic to get onto him in these team fights. It looks like they're not gonna wait for Zed to be locked in, and instead Ryu gets it. One of his all-time greats, I guess we can say. Ryu has been a fantastic Zed player back in Korea.
And Hjarnan gets himself a Jinx. Fnatic, looks like we might have an answer right
Taunting
here.
a little bit,
If they go for the Diana, I'm not sure about that one.
No, Cho'Gath is good against Zed in the laning phase.
You know what else is good against Zed in the laning phase? Urgot.
That's very true. Well, Urgot at least is fantastic later on in the game against him. Whenever Zed goes in, you just swap him around, you stack a massive amount of armor, and he's never going to kill you in that sense. Let's see what Fnatic wants to do. We had the Vladimir top lane beforehand. It worked better for Huni, but nearly everything in the world would have compared to what he played in the first few games. He lost the lane, however, fairly hard to the Sion pick from Odoamne, which is still open in this situation here. But he managed to pick up so many kills in the team fights, which was the big turning point for him. But that was not started by Huni. That was started by Febiven getting that first spot in the mid lane. And they will take the Cho'Gath into Zed matchup here, which a lot of the best Zed players in the world say this is a very tough one for Zed to play.
Cho'Gath does get pretty big and beefy. It can be hard to try and chunk him down, and if you can anticipate it, you can just rupture on top of yourself as soon as Zed jumps in on you with the death mark. So
that's the thing, you also got the silence, which stops a lot from Zed.
The Ezreal pick is a little bit curious too. Steelback has played it at least once.
So, week 9, Fnatic H2K, they pick their Ezreal, and all they do is go standard lane, farm. Nothing is what you do. Ezreal is so boring to watch in the laning phase because he just sits back and farms. He's so passive, but it allows the rest of the team to make plays. It allows the top lane, the jungle, the mid laner to make the plays, and then whenever they feel like it, they go down to that bottom lane and start ganking on H2K. And they can't do the same because there's so much mobility from the Ezreal itself to jump around. And also, it is a pick against the Zed to try and stay alive in these fights here. You're not picking an immobile AD carry who's just stuck if Zed jumps him. Now Ezreal can at least try and kite around a little bit for himself. So that's why they're picking it, is just to keep Steelback safe and say, this game is not about you. At least not the first 20-25 minutes is not about you. You get your man immune, you get it fully stacked, you get your Trinity Force, then you can start doing something. Before, you just sit back and farm. Let the rest of us make the plays.
With that,
we talked about obviously the Janna also from H2K.
The Janna, I mean, it's another solid choice for the mobility factor, for the disengage. They also have the Gragas once again, so that's going to be the double disengage. There is a lot of damage though between, it's a lot of sustained damage really with the Jinx, and of course you've got the potential burst that Ryu can bring. It's still pretty AD heavy though.
Yeah, that's the problem, and we haven't seen a lot of AP picks from Odoamne in the top lane. And he's normal champion to fall back on if Maokai is gone. It has been Sion now in the lane, and that would, as you just said yourself, put H2K in a situation where they're so focused on physical damage that Fnatic can stack armor. And then going into late game, it's going to be so hard for him to take down anyone. I mean, the Cho'Gath is going to become very tanky. Getting the stacks, he's going to get an Hourglass in that situation if it's against pure physical. We know Ezreal can jump around, sustain himself, kite very well in fights, and Vladimir obviously doing the same. So while Fnatic is not running a clear-cut tank that's gonna just stack a mass amount of armor, there's obviously War Enchant on Rek'Sai, and then you go full tank after. Then it's not the worst situation, but it makes it a lot harder for you in the late game team fights when you're already against a fairly beefy setup from Fnatic.
Yeah. Fnatic has a decent mixed amount of damage too, so it's going to be difficult for H2K to really prioritize against that. As the timer ticks down, the real question is, what
there
does
really is no picks for him. If he wants to play a tank, there's not a whole lot he can offer.
I don't think they really need a tank because they've got the Gragas, but then what does he do? As you mentioned, we haven't seen too many AP picks coming out. I guess he could just go the Sion again if you... Never mind. Okay.
This is
interesting.
Very different for Odoamne. It's simply H2K saying we need some magic damage. We cannot run double physical carries and nothing else in our setup. I mean, we have seen Diana top lane from KaSing in Europe. It's a pick which does just fine in the laning phase, but it's so risky because you are so easy to gank in a long lane like the top lane, and you cannot afford to fall behind on it because you simply don't have the damage or tankiness then to dive in onto enemy backlines. And this is the first time where we see Odoamne not pick a big tank, which is what he normally goes for. He's played Lulu like once, so that was in a Juggernaut composition. Outside of that, we are mainly looking at tanks for him. Lissandro's been played twice, not in recent weeks, and then Kennen once. Everything else is Maokai, Gnar, and Sion. Now we're gonna have to see what he can do on a carry. Instead, no double tank setup from either team. Obviously got the big tank Gragas from loulex here, and only the Rek'Sai from Fnatic. Fnatic again is more like bruiseries in terms of like there's no full tank, but more you have a lot of damage from your dealers and they become fairly tanky.
This one's going to get bloody though, man. I mean, this is just absolutely insane. We will see if the top lane Diana is going to be able to carry H2K to victory, or will it be Fnatic going to the finals in Madrid? Why don't you guys hop on Twitter and let us know. Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag H2K win or FNC win. We're still tallying them. And now we are onto the Rift. Game number 5.
H2K changing it up here, early picking Zed for Rio. He played it against Copenhagen Wolves in the quarterfinal. He did it simply to take it away from Febiven, as Rio wouldn't have any good picks into it. We haven't seen Cho'Gath, we haven't seen Urgot from him. That's why he takes it, and the crowd yelling for Fnatic.
I think we hear a few other things in there as well.
Oh, isn't there always like a Team Solo mid fan in the crowd?
There's at least one. Doesn't matter where you are. Febiven's at least amused.
Would you like
quite the gentleman.
Cheese with your wine?
Line scrimmage start from both these teams. We don't look to be seeing a lane swap. I'm really curious to see how this top lane goes, because Vlad versus Diana is not something that I would expect in the top lane.
No, a bit. I mean, as always with Vladimir here, he needs a few levels before he can really start doing well in his lanes. But Diana doesn't have any kill pressure pre-level 6 either. And you're not running Ignite because you have to teleport as a top laner, so it's very hard for Diana to do a whole lot in the laning phase in that sense. Another reason why people don't like it too much in the top lane. Has been seen a few times, obviously. I wonder if we're going to see more Reignover. First item, it's something KaSing likes to do just for lane dominance, and it's obviously fantastic against the Vladimir as well. Cooldown reduction and the mana regen as a top laner can be very needed. Late game, he's going to get the blue buffs, but he's not going to run all the way down from top lane to pick up a blue buff and run back. So he's going to need some sort of regen up in that top lane for himself. We're going to have to see what Odoamne decides to do and how he can play in this one. Again, we normally see him on the big tanks. Very different pick for him now.
Very different indeed. We'll see how this Zed Cho matchup goes. In the mid lane, and all the while, Odoamne has actually gone ahead and started on the Raptor camp. Should be able to clear that one, and back to base he goes after the early level 2.
Yeah, camps from nearly everyone except for Huni, just sitting on the Vladimir. Can't really do a camp at level 1 himself. Down the bottom lane here, they're even in terms of XP. No, Steelback got close to all of them. He didn't get the small one, but he got the big one on his own. So he's going to hit level 2 very fast. Once he kills one more minion, it should be enough for him. But H2K are getting the push on this one. Gets the level 2 as well, starts zoning away. A very good spot to deny a little bit of farm. YellowStar obviously a bit of XP away from hitting level 2 himself. Only Steelback is going to get it. There
he goes. Still, they've been pushed back just a little bit to start this one off. So, let's check in where the junglers are at. Pretty standard starts from both of them. This is probably one of the most normal games we've seen this series.
Yeah.
I'd say by far. And
we have to see what Febiven can do on a Cho'Gath.
That's the real question, isn't it?
He shines on Assassin. That's where he can become the big playmaker. You can't really do the same on a Cho'Gath in that sense. Not a big split pusher. First gank from Reignover is around the top. And we talk about Diana, she has no mobility. She's very easy to gank. He's going to force a flash.
This is definitely going to force a flash as he gets the knock up. There it goes. And he chugs a biscuit or two. Yeah, this is going to be now loulex coming in around the side with the double bust, forcing a flash out of Febiven as well. And he rolls out the barrel too.
So suddenly a lot of lanes you can gank for the junglers here with the Cho'Gath in the mid lane with Diana in top lane as well. Not a good start for Odoamne. It's super tough to play this lane, or well, to play Diana in the top lane because of it. And now loulex, he's in trouble.
Flash for flash right there. The Raptor camp's gonna help him out, and Reignover secures first blood.
We so often talk about these early junglers, how they're still very strong in the current meta because they can make plays like this. And when you already have your mid lane pushing in, look at the top lane, was already pushing towards Odoamne, so there was no help for loulex, and Rek'Sai could just go for that fairly easy one-on-one. So important with a good start for Rek'Sai, especially also because loulex showed in the last game that he wants to gank on this Gragas. Despite being weaker than Rek'Sai in the early game, he kept looking for ganks. He didn't farm. Now he's been set behind quite a lot. Gave over a new set of double buffs to Reignover as well. And here's another gank on Odoamne.
Yeah,
he has no flash, remember.
Flash. The pool coming in as well from Huni. They didn't secure it though. Just a little too soon to back off.
Forced him back anyway though, which is the important one of this, or from this gank. Diana top lane so far under a lot of pressure because you got this Rek'Sai pick from Reignover, who's so aggressive in the early ganks.
Starting to get a little bit tough for the H2K lanes. The bottom lane for them has actually done quite well. They've been forcing Steelback away from this farm. This is just the harassing power of the Jinx Janna lane. Now they push the wave up to the tower, start taking a few shots at it as well. And as you mentioned, Steelback, not going to really be doing much there, but just trying to stay safe. loulex gets a shot nipping at his heels as he dashes away from Reignover.
So risky what loulex is doing. If he goes in for a gank and gets counter ganked with no flash, he's dead 100%. Rek'Sai is going to destroy him. But yeah, as we talked about in champs, like this Ezreal pick is just Fnatic saying, you know what, Steelback, you sit and farm, do nothing else, we just do standard lanes, and then we make plays on the top side of the map. Already giving one kill, the force to flash from Odoamne as well on that top side. So very clear what Fnatic has been doing in the early game. They have to worry about this bot lane tower going down if there's enough time for H2K to just keep pushing it in, because this lane is not going to turn around. Steelback is going to go back and get a tier, so he's not going to have any combat stats, and he's going to lose the lane even harder. And then it's up to H2K to push in this tower here and get it as early as possible so they can rotate the Jinx around and start getting global gold that way.
Is the thing. They continue to pressure Odoamne in the top. Let's see if they can pick him off. This time they can. It goes over to Huni. Oh, and the crowd just loves it.
The only way for Odoamne to stay safe is if loulex puts focus on getting the Rift Scuttler on the top side and then helps him ward as well. So you block this entrance into the Baron, but that's not been taken at all. So there's simply no way for Odoamne to stay in the lane. Either you have to sit in your own tower, or you can expect to get ganked. Every single time you have no mobility in a long lane. Very tough for him.
And they have brought Ryu and loulex down to this bottom side to try and get a dive on. There is going to be the death mark onto Steelback as he tries to make his escape. He does. Hjarnan goes forward, actually takes a lot of damage. H2K try to make a move on the bottom side and it doesn't work.
The only lane where H2K is winning is on the bottom lane. That's why they wanted to go for a kill and potentially take that tower. They need Hjarnan once he gets his BF sword to start switching up and go to different lanes. Otherwise, Fnatic can just keep ganking on this Diana here in the top lane.
He has not left this lane.
No ulti though.
But he's behind enemy lines and he doesn't have any supply at the moment. Any help. loulex looking to change that. But Reignover is in the area as well. Now he's going to go ahead and back. He has spent a lot of time here for no effect.
Yeah, got the flash only from Steelback, and that was it. Now, they want to go back. You got that BF sword on the Jinx. You know what Ezreal is going to build, so you're going to win the lane. Can you do it fast enough? Top tower, taking a lot of damage. We saw how Diana had to move mid lane to defend because of this play from Reino or from Ryu. And really not looking good. Fnatic also winning the vote.
Oh yeah, it was a little even earlier in the series, but it's been turned around here. And speaking turned around once again, Odoamne just finds himself so far behind trying to deal with anybody right now. He's been keeping up in farm, but he nearly got eaten by the Cho'Gath once again.
And that opens up for mid tower now. It's being pushed in because Zed is on the top side. We still see Jinx bottom lane. She hasn't recalled yet. And therefore, Fnatic has full control of the mid lane. They can open up for either Dragon. They can take Dragon or take mid tower. They decide where they want to go and deal some damage onto it. Obviously, wouldn't be able to completely kill the mid tower, but at least you chip it down. And really, at the moment, H2K is only winning that bottom lane. It's where they have to be able to make the play. Get that tower once you return with your BF sword.
Been unable to do it so far. So now Odoamne is fully committed to swapping into the mid. Let's see how he fares against Febiven. The Feast is not available just yet as he had used it on the last iteration, but you can already see he's taking the damage. Harassed from the Feral Scream, making it difficult for Odoamne. We'll see what he can do here. Ryu on the top lane, waiting very patiently in the brush. If he can get a pick off on Huni, that will
well, the
certainly
thing
set
is,
him rolling.
Vlad can pull his death mark, so...
Yeah, it's very, very difficult for him to really do that.
You're only going to get the kill if Huni really misplays on his own. Zed is more mobile though, so he can escape the ganks easier unless you use your shadow offensively. Compared to Dan, that's why they've made the swap here in this situation.
Oh, YellowStar gets pushed back. He throws down the box, but KaSing's not too worried. There's a lot of minions that are causing YellowStar some pain, but in comes Steelback, and KaSing can't make this play alone. He got a little bit too aggressive here. Shields on, dodging, but he can't dodge that auto attack. Steelback comes up with a kill.
Was that a support staying close to the enemy tower on his own? That was a very weird indeed. That's a very strange play from KaSing.
Huni's bailing out after the death mark. It's gonna be loulex going down. Huni soon to follow. Ryu now could be in some more trouble as Reignover picks him up. It's a double kill. Odoamne teleporting back in, and he dashes forward, but Reignover's already out of town.
Yeah, mid lane being pushed in as well. Fnatic here, they get the kills, they get the towers down. Free kill on the bottom lane on KaSing. No idea what he was doing there, just walking up on his own, being caught out. Not sure if he was trying to group up the minions and potentially set up a freeze, but that wouldn't make any sense because you want to get the tower. Anyway, Dragon is now an option. There's nobody here from H2K side. You got Odoamne in the top lane, already used teleport. Zed is coming from mid lane now, very far away. Fnatic is just controlling everything.
They turn their attention, though, to the bottom side. Yes, they are, though. Very difficult for H2K to get anything back. They have to stop the snowball before it becomes any bigger. Febiven rows into the tri-brush, gets a rupture onto loulex, just shows him who's boss. They can go back to the Dragon, but it is a little bit more risky. Ryu's around, so is loulex. They will take their time about this one before they go back to it.
Yeah, still, the bottom lane is where H2K has to make the play. loulex can come down now, they can push it in 3 guys and take the tower, especially because YellowStar just backed. And then you take Hjarnan here and you move into the mid lane instead, where Cho'Gath does have decent wave clear, but doesn't have enough AP to fully instantly clear the wave, so you can always push him down and at least keep him stuck at his own tower. You can also go top lane and trade it for that Dragon instead if you want. Vladimir won't be able to clear the waves, because he has to stand on them if you dare with your both support and AD carry. So there are options for H2K to get some gold. The problem is it relies on Fnatic stopping simply making plays, and they don't have to because they're winning their solo laners. In this situation here, they can gank couple shot again.
Well, even the bottom's normalized. Yes, Hjarnan's still out farming Steelback, but that's kind of to be expected at this point in the game, and you never know when the pressure from Reignover is going to come. They have really not done a great job of clearing out the tunnels. Yes, some of them have been popped on the side of H2K, but it's really not slowing Reignover down too much.
Yeah, tough man to please. Pyra, he can't really invade into that enemy jungle.
That's true.
Plays tunnels.
You got me on that one.
The wards, though, have been in favor of Fnatic.
Still, Fnatic, they've kept the vision up. Here's what H2K can do here, though, is they can pick off this tower, get excited, a little bit of harass down for Hjarnan.
Now you gotta run, though, and not keep trading.
There's a Cho'Gath in the sights, the flash. Oh, the hook comes in. Febiven has the Jinx in his sights, and he takes a bite out of him. KaSing pushing the rest of Fnatic back, but they've already picked up the carry, and the rupture's gonna land as well. KaSing's in trouble. He's going down. That kill credited to YellowStar. Fnatic eyeballing the Dragon.
Eyeballing.
But not taking it.
The final of the EU LCS.
That is
with the way they're playing now. 13 minutes in, 7 kills already. They got 2 towers. Only the bottom lane is left alive. Now let's see what Ryu can do on Reignover.
And he's trying to finish him off, but Ryu really low here. The last shot's gonna get him. It's Reignover that manages to pick him up. Thank you, red buff Huni, though. Can he make his escape? He pulls, but it won't be enough. The barrel comes in and Odoamne claims the kill. loulex knocked up by Reignover. Febiven coming in. Feast not off cooldown, but he does have enough damage in the tank anyways. And loulex knows he's gone, stops moving, and takes the short route back to base.
Everything is collapsing for H2K here. Simply nothing they can do. Full credit to Reignover on this Rek'Sai. He's showing what you still can do on these early junglers here, as long as you're playing aggressive, as long as you look for the ganks. For him, I mean, you got 5 kills. 14 minutes in. Dragon is still up. Nobody's taking it because there's been no reason for Fnatic to start it when they can keep getting kills in the lanes. H2K does have the bot lane tower down, so Hjarnan and KaSing needs to leave the bottom lane here.
They're gonna go and check directly into Reignover and YellowStar. The question is, do they have enough damage? They might. Reignover gets knocked up for just a moment. He's going pretty low in this one, but he gets his way out. The rocket gets intercepted by YellowStar. Odoamne still looking to chase in on Reignover, pulls in YellowStar instead. They might have to sacrifice their support, and they will. It goes to Odoamne. Hjarnan getting excited, but he won't be able to polish off Reignover. He's already gone.
Does open up for H2K to start a Dragon and at least get something after that one kill here. Let's see if Fnatic want to fight. They're still very strong.
Reignover's not left to base.
Febiven is not hit 11 yet, so he doesn't have rank 2 of his ulti. But he can still go in. Oh.
Yep, Hemoplague thrown down on 3 members, and there's the True Shot Barrage. There's a lot of damage coming out. Hjarnan nearly going down. Do they have enough to do it? Huni gonna run straight into Ryu. They've chased H2K away. The zap will keep Huni back, but they do manage to secure the Dragon for themselves. Huni flashing forward, not able to get anything else. They have scared H2K away.
Not over yet, Pyra.
And they may be looking at this tower, Deficio.
Potential kills, just forcing H2K away. Huni's trying to zone them. Might be collapsed on here.
Yeah, he's got a pool, though, able to sink beneath the ground for a second. Steelback moving forward on KaSing. The Janus shield keeping him alive for now as Reignover picks up loulex. KaSing throws the monsoon. There comes the Ezreal. Steelback picks up KaSing anyways. And they can easily take this tower now. Fnatic just outplaying and outpositioning H2K.
Really like how they just stayed between the 2 towers here. They didn't allow H2K to move down and defend the tier 1. Just basically cut them off in between, while the rest of Fnatic were running around in the jungle. So when we thought there was a collapse on Huni, well, Fnatic already had multiple members nearby as well. Super nice play staying between them. So this fight here, a lot of ultis and everything has been invested from H2K, and they're tanking the Dragon. So this is a nice ulti from Huni to start it so close. And in the end, he just chased it, and now he does the smart play and just stays between the 2 towers here. You're not gonna let H2K either run away or come down and defend the tier 1. No, fight them in between. You don't need to fight at a tower. Super nice setup. Look how the rest of them are coming around.
Yeah, and he buys time with the pool as well, just using himself as live bait. They still can't quite finish him off. There's so much damage here. And Fnatic just come up with the better end of it. They grab everything they want and more. So 6,000 gold in the lead. They've got themselves a Dragon to the 0 of H2K, as well as 3 towers to 1. It's about 17.5 minutes into this one, Deficio. Fnatic are looking good. They've got their eyes on the finals in Madrid.
Couldn't hope for more. Plan ready against Diana top lane as soon as it was locked in with this Rek'Sai pick for Reignover. 6 kills for himself. And also H2K clearly, the way they've been playing in this game here, realized once they started dropping in this whole lane, it's like, okay, what can we do? We have to start making risky plays now. Otherwise, we're never going to get to a point where we get any gold if we don't start overextending in the lane. It cost them a few kills. They got the bot lane tower, but they've not been able to push anything after. Now they've swapped Hjarnan to that mid lane. Fnatic is ready to defend.
They're ready indeed. Huni catches sight of loulex. Now Ryu there as well, backs himself away. We'll see what H2K can get off of this. It looks like nothing for now. Meanwhile, back in the mid lane, YellowStar's not able to connect on a hook. Hjarnan takes a lot of damage, but he gets out safely.
Steelback going Iceborne Gauntlet here against the Zed. Wants that extra armor for himself. More kite options as well to just stay alive in these fights. He knows there's enough damage on the side of Fnatic.
Odoamne can't quite make the plan. Reignover, he takes the Lantern escape.
Look at all the items here from them. We got the Spell, Vamp, Focus, Spirit Visage build from Vladimir, so he's going very tanky. Not a whole lot of damage from him, but enough. And then your job is instead just have super long team fights where you can keep sustaining yourself. And then you have Rod of Ages coming in from Febiven with cooldown reduction, so just focus on trying to spam out Ruptures here while he's kiting backwards. And then of course Iceborne Gauntlet, so very tanky. All the members, honestly, from Fnatic getting some sort of tanky stat early on, which is going to make it even harder for H2K to get any kills in the fights.
He is collapsed on now by members of H2K. I think he knows he's not getting out of this one, even with the pull, but maybe he can get back to his team. No! Hjarnan gets the kill, takes the brunt of the true shot barrage, but he's still just fine. Definitely some much needed gold onto him.
I'm not sure what's
doing an answer.
What Huni was doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Lanes. There's been a few sloppy deaths in this one. And goes and joins the other ones for Huni. No objective really to take for H2K, so Fnatic doesn't lose a whole lot from it, other than it just slows them down. And when they're building all these tanky items, really just opens up for these long team fights for Fnatic, where as long as Zed doesn't pop a target with his ulti, which he won't be able to later in the game, he's not going to do anything in the fights, and Fnatic can just keep kiting around and wait for that Q to land from a Cho'Gath, and then you go in. Now, we often talk about the early Barons from Fnatic.
The very early Baron.
But there's no vision from H2K.
They've also got a Feast from Febiven. He can take his time, walk slowly around the side, intercepts the Jinx rocket, but now they know that this is happening. The problem for H2K is it's far too late to stop.
Classic Fnatic. One pink ward is all they need. Plays it. If they see H2K move in, you just back away from it because you already control the map. And then you just take your chances. Really, Fnatic can do nearly everything they want here. They can go 1-3-1 split push. They can go 5-man together. They're strong enough to just force H2K away from a tower. And take it, the dragon is obviously going to belong to Fnatic as well.
Yeah, only 20 seconds or so left on that one. H2K, they've got to stop this move forward, but the problem is now you've got Baron enhanced minions. You've got a lot of damage. Hjarnan narrowly avoids that rupture. Fnatic just owns this map wherever they want to go right now. And I was talking about the Rek'Sai tunnels earlier. You can see some of those offensive ones starting to come into play big time for Reignover and the rest of Fnatic. YellowStar, Reignover starting off this dragon.
Yeah, the only thing H2K can do at this point, if Febiven wasn't pushing the mid lane, was like go top here with 3 or 4 guys and try and take the tower. But it had to go so fast, and you can't do it if your mid lane hasn't been pushed out, and that's why Febiven stayed in there, pushing up to the tier 2. So that completely stopped H2K from making any plays and trying to trade it for that dragon.
They've been starved of gold, really.
Completely.
They've not been able to get anything because Fnatic is always there to push them back time and time again. Now they have to worry about defending this bottom turret. Baron enhanced minions. So many members of Fnatic here. Hjarnan getting caught on a line. That's going to be all she wrote for him. The true shot barrage. Nicks loulex in the back of the head. Ryu still trying to make a play on this turret, but he is going to trade at best an outer for an inner. Fnatic, they're not interested in stopping right now. Huni, meanwhile, back in the mid lane, still making it happen, and they are continuing to shove forward. They want to end this game as soon as they can. Deficio, inhibitor tower being fired down. 28.5 minutes. Febiven grabs a midnight snack, and in comes loulex to try and push them all back, but it's not going to happen. Febiven picks up that kill on, KaSing and Hjarnan have both gone down now. Hjarnan just about to come back up, but the inhibitor is already down. Another inhibitor turret being fired down. Fnatic, forget a snowball, this has become an avalanche.
Completely here. Fnatic really showing how good they are once they get that early lead. Showed it in the last game as well. Won the early game with Febiven getting that first spot and just used it to completely take over the map. Didn't give H2K a single chance of coming back. It's the same in this game here from Fnatic's side.
2 inhibitors Fnatic has managed to grab now. It is 23 minutes into the game. That's one of the earliest ones we've had this series. Fnatic starving H2K over and over again. They've got their sights set on this final. Ryu, Hemoplague's on, in comes the death mark as Huni continues to move for him, but Odoamne teleporting in too late. Huni comes up with a kill. And he continues to chase away Odoamne. H2K can't even make the solo outplays or even a 2v1.
Let's see Fnatic. I mean, you don't really have to do a whole lot more. Just force a fight on the top lane.
They've got the game in the palm of their hands.
Yeah, completely, obviously. I don't think it takes
too
much of a brain to realize.
It would have to be
Fnatic.
like the perfect positioning for H2K. Fnatic would just have to get themselves caught horrendously, but this game has been so one-sided in their favor after the start of it. They cannot be stopped in this push. They've just got so much damage. They're so far ahead for this point in the game.
Respect to KaSing. He's still smiling, sitting there. He knows the game is basically done. And yet he's there, keeping it fairly cool. For H2K, the goal was to win, obviously. Win the whole split. I'm not talking about the semi-final here, but for them just getting this far in the first split is fantastic.
It is absolutely fantastic indeed. But you know what else is right now, Deficio? The way Fnatic is playing this game, the Rocket's going to hit YellowStar. Won't be enough damage as Reignover picks up a double kill. They're eyeballing the end of this one right now. Reignover runs onto the Flame Chompers, but that doesn't even matter. They've turned their attention to the Nexus turrets to fire this one down. 25 minutes into the game, the Nexus is bare. Fnatic, it took them 5 games to do it, but they are going